I'm nobody, and I've had some real pieces of work come in here. Did I live? No. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The idea for this week's video came about when a viewer of mine exclaimed he would no longer make any money if BSG decided to commit to this secure container change idea. While I felt that statement was a little far-fetched, I decided to take matters into my own hands and do a little EFT science experiment. For anyone unaware of the change we are speaking of, BSG revealed in a recent stream that they wanted to test out taking away the ability to put items into your secure container mid-raid. This has been met with a lot of criticism, but like I've been telling my chat, let's test it out during the pre-wipe event and voice our opinions when the time comes. If enough people dislike this change, they may be persuaded to drop it altogether, but we need to give it a chance first. I decided for this test I would put together an all-around average kit and do 20 runs to the Shoreline Resort with and without the ability to put things in my Gamma container. I didn't want gear to sway the numbers too hard in either direction, so I put together something that's not bad, but not necessarily good either. My goal is to get in, fill up on loot, and get out while trying to avoid combat at all costs. I wanted to keep the focus on looting to more accurately reflect how the change will affect profit. I've also chosen high population servers to keep the test more realistic. I did not want dead raids because I felt this would sway the data too hard in one direction. We also alternated between Gamma and no Gamma runs, so my own personal performance at the time would not be a factor. This test was conducted over several days on both weekdays and weekends. For a little extra flavor, I decided it would be fun to include 10 more runs both with and without a Gamma using a budget pistol kit to see if that changed anything. More on that later. During my mid-tier kit Gamma runs, I actually stumbled upon the red keycard in 218 West. I didn't include the profits from that in this video, but it is in the raw data, which I will have a link to in the description below. I will also talk more about this later in the video. Alright, now that we've got all the formalities out of the way, let's get to the results of the test. Over the course of my 40 mid-tier kit raids, I profited 6,882,632 rubles with my container and 6,927,965 rubles without my container. My average profit per raid was 344,132 rubles with container and 346,398 without. I attribute these surprisingly close results to how little money my Gamma actually made me over the 20 runs. I died 7 times with my Gamma and 5 times without. Over the course of those 7 deaths, my Gamma earned me a total of 539,895 rubles, which accounted for just 8% of my total with Gamma profits. This means that on average, my Gamma made me just 26,995 rubles per run. I believe about 3 of those raids I died long before I ever got to loot anything at all, which does happen sometimes, so keep that in mind. Obviously, on the 5 deaths where we didn't use our Gamma, we made no profit on death. Now I'd like to talk about that red keycard I mentioned earlier. If we add in the 25 million rubles I made from selling it, these graphs would look a lot different, which is why I didn't want to include it. The red keycard is such an abnormality in this test, it wouldn't be fair to the data if I had thrown it in there. On that particular raid where I found the keycard, I was doing a Gamma run, so I quickly stashed it in my container so I wouldn't lose it. I did manage to survive that raid, but this brings up something we need to discuss. What if we lived in a world where you couldn't use your container in raid? And what if I had died? This is a very plausible situation that could happen to anyone. Even if it's not with the red keycard, what about the Kiba key? Or the ever so elusive East 310 key? I've personally spent days at this point hunting down keys, and I wouldn't wish losing a key you finally found because you died and couldn't Gamma it on my worst enemy. I have spoken to numerous people who are either for or against the secure container change altogether, and no matter what side you're on, I found pretty much everyone agrees on one thing. They would like to see some sort of exception put in place so you could still put keys you found mid-raid in your container. I feel it's a fair compromise between what we have now and what they'd like to implement. What do you guys think about this exception? If you're on the fence about this change, would this help you decide? Please let me know in the comments below, as I'd like to see where everyone stands on this issue, and I'd love to share this data and the community's thoughts with BSG and Nikita. Your voice matters. I said in the beginning of the video we would also include some budget pistol kit runs to see if that yielded different results, so let's talk about that now. All the rules remain the same, except this time I used a kit that included a BlackRock vest, scav backpack, and Grok pistol. I wanted to get the kit as cheap as possible without coming in as a hatchling, because at that point I believe you're just wasting money by not being able to pick up valuable items. I only ran 10 raids with and without Gamma for my own sanity, so keep that in mind when looking at the results. Even though I only did half the raids, I feel confident in saying that this kit in fact did yield different results. Another reason I wanted to include this portion of the video is because I didn't want people to be able to say that the only reason I got the results I did in the previous segment is because I play the game so much. I can only do so much with the pistol in terms of self-defense, so I figured this would help us get even closer to the truth. Out of all my budget kit raids, I only killed 2 PMC. One you saw in the opening clip of this video, and the other was this lucky kill. Over the course of my 20 budget pistol kit runs, I profited 3,793,311 rubles with Gamma and 1,227,598 without. My average profit per raid was 379,331 rubles with Gamma and 122,760 without. This is definitely a wider gap in totals than we saw with the last kit. I have to attribute some of this gap to dying 6 times on my no Gamma runs and only 3 times on my Gamma runs. Now as far as profits on death goes, we see similar numbers to the last test. Over my 3 deaths, the Gamma made me 495,790 total rubles, which is an average of 49,579 per raid, and accounts for 13% of my total pistol run with Gamma profits. Will the container change affect your profits? Well, it depends. We see that in our budget kit runs, the Gamma actually accounted for more of our total profits than it did on the mid-tier kit runs. This can likely be attributed to the fact that the spaces in our Gamma account for more of our total inventory space on the budget kit runs than they did on the mid-tier kit. So if you're the type who likes to come in low geared, the Gamma definitely affects your profits more than someone who comes in full geared. That being said, over these 60 total raids, the money made from the Gamma was really insignificant when you compare it to the money the rest of my inventory made me. At most, I could say I'd make about 10% less doing my usual loot runs, and even then, that's really only because of the space I'd lose from not being able to Gamma things in raid. On the flip side, how much more money will we make off the bodies of opponents killed that have valuable loot they would have otherwise stuffed in their Gamma containers? There's no test I can run to figure that out, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. Well guys, that's all I have for you this time. Once again, I'd like to ask that you comment below and let me know how you feel about the secure container change, or if you have any ideas on how they can make it better. Also, if you have any suggestions on how I can make videos like this better, please don't hesitate to let me know. I appreciate all the support from you guys, and I'll see you next time.